Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Be sure to follow us on social media. We are celebrating 14 years of podcasting. Be part of the fun, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you my favorite people, so I assume yours as well. The winner of Roast Battle, also appeared on Seth Meyers, Conan, John Oliver's New York stand-up show, Mike Lawrence.
Hey, thank you. Congratulations on having a podcast old enough to be hit on by Bryan Singer.
Thank you. It is odd, right, when Bohemian Rhapsody wins every single award except Best Director, and they don't even acknowledge who the director was in the Oscars. I get it. It's just odd.
I mean, I watched that movie, and I wouldn't acknowledge who the director was either.
Right.
It was really bad. Every time they showed him the recording studio, they were accidentally recording another hit song.
Right. And also joining us from HBO Comedy Festival, Gotham Comedy Live, Paul Hooper.
Hey, now.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right.
No, you're not. No, you're not doing all
I
right.
just thought I'd say it.
You know I see your social media. You're not doing all right.
No, it's so negative.
Which is funny because he looks like me if I was doing all right.
Paul on Twitter, you can follow at Paul Hooper. I can do about 2 more years in society, tops. Send.
I enjoyed that one.
That really got a lot of likes. A lot of people feel that way, I think. Yeah, that's it.
I could see you doing that.
I'm out in 2 years.
And I always check the time when people tweet. And it's 7 p.m. Not a terrible time.
It was for me.
But that's like the start of your day at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I was about to go out in public again. I dreaded it.
Jeopardy's starting, but maybe he just found out about Trebek's illness, you know? I mean, he had all the answers, and even he can't be safe.
By the way, Mike Lawrence was just on a cruise. Could you picture being on a cruise?
I don't think I could do it. I don't think so.
You would die with everybody around you, right?
Yeah, it would be claustrophobic. I would hate it. I dread the idea of it. I don't want to be on a boat.
I was on a very specific cruise. I did the 311 Caribbean cruise.
Oh, is it 311?
Yes.
I've heard of these rock cruises. That might be different.
Can I tell you, though, of all the, quote, rock cruise, 311, that's got to be cool.
I mean, it made me realize how much I love Sublime.
Do you say that? Because you won't push it. Do you say that on stage?
Oh, yeah. I did a thing on stage. I mean, I have it. It won't work, but I wrote out the 11 things I've learned on the 311 cruise. And I did them, and most of them were making fun of the band 311. Yeah.
That guy's still super rich. 311. I looked up his net worth.
Oh, yeah.
And I was really surprised.
I think if you go for the stoner audience, you'll always have a net worth.
I think he's good with real estate, too. I don't know.
It's weird when you see these artists, and there's always something weird they did you didn't know about. He developed the 5-bread toaster.
Yeah, they produced something.
Yeah.
There was an amazing moment the last day of the cruise where somebody said, and this was like sincere, we were at the buffet, so, you know, nothing of joy will be said, but they were like, you know, the worst thing about the 311 cruise is the day after when I have to go to work and pretend to be something I'm not.
Oh, goodness.
That's great.
When who they are is... That's my impression of all.
That's beautiful.
311.
You know, I saw something sad. I was in the Bahamas at a resort, and there was a Rick Springfield weekend.
Look at all the sad stories from the comics. I was on a cruise. I was in the Bahamas.
It was amazing. Like they're white reggae. So they're just visiting the countries they stole their music from.
In the TV show Crashing, which you were in,
yes.
you win.
Were as in past because it's canceled.
Well, I'll tell you about the sad news in case you don't know right now. Yeah. But when you were in Crashing, you win the roast battle, as you did in real life. I thought it'd be funny in the fake life if you didn't win. You'd be like, I know it's fake, but come on, I did win. But anyway, congratulations, you won again. When do you find out that there won't be a season 4 of Crashing?
The second I got off the 311 Caribbean cruise, I was like, got a message from my boss, the head writer, and was like, hey, give me a call when you have a sec. And I did, and he told me.
Could you tell by the sound of his voice?
Yeah, and then he...
And the sound of his text.
Yeah, but then he
Frown emoji.
Hey, call me for no reason.
He called again by like 2 minutes later. He was like, oh, sorry, man. And he's like, but you can't let someone go and then butt dial. Like, that's the weirdest. Because then I'm like, oh, maybe they found out that it did get brought back in the 2 minutes since he last got. No, still canceled.
Oh, I didn't tell you the whole news. It's going to Showtime.
Yeah.
He butt dials you right after the
I'm
news.
Dying Up Here was about our ratings.
But you know what? You take solace in the little things. There's a new superhero movie, so you go out
Yeah.
right away and see that.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Captain Marvel. Now
Yes.
they're saying that women can do what men can do. What do we think of that? Because I saw this Wonder
Make mediocre Marvel films?
See?
Yes.
I mean, I saw Wonder Woman, and so I'm excited. Could a woman be a superhero? But they made her so stupid. She goes into a revolving door. She doesn't know when it ends. You know, like, oh, don't make the only woman superhero a moron. What did we think about Captain Marvel?
Well, there's a lot of parallels to Wonder Woman, and it's weird because
That's how the sentence starts, Paul. You get this. There's a lot of parallels.
oh yeah, as you smell the Cheeto dust on my breath. No, but it's
One
like,
can compare it to
yes,
19th century.
yeah. Paul's like, I don't know if he smells like Bugles or Combos, but no. But the thing is that like so Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman are female superheroes that have been around for a long time. Wonder Woman 1941, Captain Marvel 1968, as
And they
Emma
both-
knows.
And they both look great.
Yeah, I read the book.
Yeah.
They both look hot.
Yeah.
But it's like, but they're contemporary also. But for some weird reason, both of the movies are set in the past and are about how they became heroes, but then we're like, nah, I'm good, and like leave like Earth and stuff. And it's like weird. I don't know what the actual message there is. You know, and it's also, I guess, maybe is there something about the unsung nature?
Were we supposed to look for messages in unsung nature, or was it supposed to be a good movie? I thought it's supposed to be fun, you know, like fighting,
I'm just
latex.
it's just fascinating to me
Sex.
because they're also like Captain Marvel is a hero before, you know, a lot of the heroes. Like it's Captain America in the 40s and then Captain Marvel in the 90s. And
We're still talking about kids' movies, right? I'm just. Oh, Mike wants to punch me now.
Captain Marvel's a woman.
Yes.
That's what I'm gathering.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, I can do something with that. Right? I have no idea.
Well, I'll tell you, she got her superpowers by believing in herself. That was kind of a bummer.
You don't. You have fans like this. They're like, Keith, and who is the girl? And has she not yet become a woman? You know?
Yes,
We
absolutely.
dig deep into dumb shit.
Yeah, and then we
So-
make fun of it also. We
Yeah,
can handle
I
it.
know,
And
I
by we,
know.
I mean you. Are you
Yeah,
going to
I'm
cry?
aware. I'm aware. You know, I go to therapy now, and my therapist didn't know who Stanley was when I talked about his death. You know, it's fucking hard being alone.
How much does it, when you see, like how often, these superhero movies, they come out a lot, but still there is a big distance between it. When one is mediocre, I didn't think this one was good. Is it a real bummer? Like, fuck, another
No, because
6
I'm used
months.
to it. Marvel has a formula. Marvel has this amazing formula where they've made 5 great movies out of 20, but they just distance them enough that you're like, they can do no wrong.
Right.
And like this movie wasn't bad. It just wasn't great. Like it became Popeye at the end. She had all these powers. There was no threat to her. There was no fun villain or fun villain fight. They took the Skrulls, who were great adversaries, and made them into a refugee metaphor. When you could have done that for any alien race and still made them cool and threatening.
I mean,
but,
duh. It
Yeah.
sounds like you're talking about a drug. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you're chasing
it
a
is.
high.
yeah.
And you know this is going to bum you out. Like the heroin may or may not work, but every once in a while it kicks it up a notch and you're good.
Yeah, and there's moments even in this movie, like when she does power up at the end, like that's pretty cool. Like, yeah,
That's funny because we're talking to 2 sober people, and I'm like, is it just like alcohol, guys? Does he sound like he needs a drink?
I never did. Paul did all of the drugs and alcohol. I would have. I never have. Yeah.
Do you,
I missed.
are you quiet during these movies, or do you find yourself mumbling bullshit? Do you turn to your wife and be like, "There's no way this isn't what happened"?
She's amazing because like she decides within 10 minutes whether or not she likes them, and then I could just tell like, oh, she hates this. She didn't really like this one, and then I kept trying to give it a chance, and there would be moments I was like, yeah, you know, this is pretty good, but it
Okay.
just you know, but it's fine because it's like. You got Infinity War, and Captain Marvel's going to be in that, and she's going to be awesome in that. You know, they don't all have to be great. There's like 9 of them a year now.
The summary of your review is they don't all have to be great.
They don't. Doctor Strange wasn't great. The Ant-Man movies kind of suck. There's one good Iron Man out of 3.
This
you
is
know?
great. We have 3,000 episodes. They don't all have to be great.
Yeah, they don't.
You win some, you lose some.
I'm reading a story about a Department of Motor Vehicles examiner here in Queens charged with demanding bribes to pass drivers taking the road tests and groping female applicants. We need a female superhero.
Ugh, where is he groping them? Because now I have to make a decision because I think I have to take my test.
Ian Coify, 35.
Ian Queefy?
In one incident, he was administering a road test to a woman in Astoria when he asked if she had any money. She said, huh? When the applicant said no, he took hold of the steering wheel, pulled the car to the curb, demanded $100 for a passing grade. She didn't even finish the test yet. When she refused, he said, all right, $20.
Oh, quite the negotiator.
Dropped.
Yeah. Then she said, no, thank you. And then he placed his hand on her leg and then up her shirt. And
What?
then said,
What kind of maneuver is on her leg and then up her shirt?
the leg and then the swoop. And then he said, okay, you passed.
Did he really?
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
So he went in there?
So he went in there.
Hmm.
I'd like to hear the lawyer on the stand. So he went in there. Yes. Yes, he went in there.
You know, I'm putting myself in that, and I would love it if my response would be to punch him in the dick, but it never has been. I
Right.
need to make that part of the repertoire.
That,
Now I punch you in the dick. Okay, we all got what we wanted.
well, that's what was cool about Captain Marvel. Everybody she fought was only with dick punches.
You punch him in the dick, and then he goes, "You pass."
I honestly think, now tell me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm for, when it comes to, assuming, there's enough evidence, I'm for the death penalty when you work for the government and you're taking advantage of people like this. Cops, even DMV workers, you're given so many perks at work, and it's a position of power. It's the death penalty, no question. Not, I had to learn a lesson about grabbing tits to pass people driving, which they need.
Yeah, death penalty. I'm with you.
Death penalty.
Absolutely.
No question.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like working for the government is its own form of the death penalty.
I mean, you're going to retire in 20 years. You have a steady job. It's not hard. I see yas.
Yeah.
It is hard, though.
Post office looks fucking hard. I wouldn't want to work at the post office.
You guys wouldn't want to work at any of these jobs since
No.
you don't.
But
No, DMV, working the DMV. I mean, like, because it feeds itself. The people that work these jobs are assholes, but it's also, they have to be because the people that come in are assholes. But maybe they come in being assholes because the people that work them are assholes. I don't know where it starts.
Nah.
But I saw a sanitation guy, a trash man. They make tons of money here.
Yeah.
I got off the I was behind this trash truck. And I'm like, this guy looks amazing. He was like fit. He was great. And then I look it up. It's like they make $80,000 a year here.
Oh, I was in a band for like a minute with a garbage man. Holy shit. This guy was like 40 years old and just fit as fuck. Just,
he's got
he would
that
take
job.
off his shirt anytime for any reason. I'm like,
making-
oh, I see.
It's not a great living in New York, but whatever. It's all right.
It doesn't
He
seem like
cleans up and then he cleans up.
it
That's
doesn't
it.
seem like a bad living. I've been behind these trucks. They don't care.
No,
they,
they're joyriding.
They take the
The
time.
guy hanging out on the side, that looks
Yeah,
fun.
It does look fun. I've seen him hit cars and just keep going.
But you got to have amazing upper body strength to do that.
Yeah. This guy looked amazing. He was a specimen.
Yeah.
He was like the Rock in the back of a trash truck.
I can't picture when the MTA started, our subway system, or when the DMV started, or when any of these jobs started. It was a bunch of cherry people going around and like, I can't wait to be efficient. And then too many of us came in with bad attitudes, and it changed everything.
No, I know that doesn't happen because I worked retail and I was a cashier and they didn't change me.
Right.
I was still me. I didn't go, what do you want? Or I just went, next.
Yeah, I've had.
How can I help you? This is my job. Like, I didn't
changed,
roll my
yeah.
eyes. I didn't anything.
I changed overtime at McDonald's. Yeah, I got.
Well, 7 years. You're not supposed to be there.
Well, I mean,
Come on.
And these government people, they're like 40. So it's like after a while,
like they were all gung ho in their subway booth. Like, well, let me tell you when the next train's not coming. And then all of a sudden they're like, no, I think I'll just sleep.
I'm always fascinated by that. I talk to my roommates every time like someone moves to New York, a new roommate, we have the same conversation of why would you be a UPS driver in the city? Why? You should come to the city for things you can't get everywhere else. Jobs, entertainment, stuff like that. But I don't understand, like a postal, why wouldn't you move to Tampa and do that and not deal with this traffic or these human beings, 8 million people in your way? With
Because
these jobs like that. Well, and you could also live a better life in Des Moines, Iowa, being a postal carrier than you can in Queens. Like, it's crazy that you would deal with all that shit.
How many people do you see working, literally shuffling their feet? Should there be a government organization that points them out and goes, no, pick up your feet, no?
No, there's no reason to live in New York or LA unless you have another reason to. It's
Right.
like we're like looking at like a house now, and the saddest thing is watching HDTV and realizing what we could actually do with the money we have. It's so depressing.
But do you think
Yeah.
that some people live here? A lot of people live here because they just grew up here, and then the other reason is maybe to enjoy the things that the other people are making. Like, I like going to comedy clubs, and there are dance things in the city, and art, and
But you meet a lot of people in Queens that never go to the city anymore. They're over it. I've had that.
Yeah,
Landlords, I've had that. The neighbors that just don't go to Manhattan. They haven't gone in 20 years. They just sit in Queens across the bridge.
But you guys also get a lot more out of doing the show here than if you did it somewhere else. Like the amount of guests that you're able to get access to.
Well, I think that's what Paul's saying. If there's a
Yeah.
reason, like
Right,
you're for
yeah,
it,
yeah.
for the entertainment, but if it's for the Applebee's, they're everywhere.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. Port Charlotte, Florida. Anywhere. You can do that.
And Captain Marvel was the Applebee's of films. That's what I was trying to say.
Paul, where would you live if you weren't a comic
If
or
I
an
were
artist?
I think of it all day long, every day. Santa Fe,
You're
New
fun
Mexico.
to be with you, aren't you?
He thinks of it on stage and then
I
says it out loud.
I do.
I could be in Albany right now, you dumb fucks.
It is true. Not in fucking Albany.
Why am I here when there's Massapequa right over the bridge?
Well, he,
real
he
thought.
definitely thinks about it at 7:08 p.m., I see.
When I post things, absolutely. I think of a top three. I'm like Santa Fe, New Mexico, maybe Boulder, although it's a college town. I would hate that. Asheville, North Carolina. And then I think
fuck yeah.
Asheville, North Carolina, a great town. And
My
just,
dad lived there for a little bit. It's
I
amazing.
love it. And it's like, but the secret's out on Asheville. Like, the money's coming in, it's getting pretentious. But it's like medium-sized towns. We're having access to a pharmacy. I'm not out off the grid. I need to be near a CVS for medication and Neosporin and stuff. And then, but I'm in a small town. There's not 8 million people around me and like that. I mean, I'm over the big city shit. I want to go. I wanted to go 8 years ago, but I still do comedy, so I got to stay here.
Right.
But I want to be gone so bad.
I so want to see Paul as a dad.
Oh,
my
why would
God.
you say that?
I just want because it'd be fun to me. I don't have to live with him. I'd like to hear what happens. The people say, Dad, I'm thinking about giving a government job. Sure, son, scam him. Yes.
When he plays catch, he teaches his kid not to catch the ball. See, son, what's going to happen is you'll get the ball, and then you'll look at it and you'll realize how much it disappoints you. And so it's better just avoid it altogether.
he teaches his kid to take those dives in soccer
Yeah.
at a young age.
Let me
does
tell
sound
you
good.
how I met your mother and then why she left us.
Did you want kids? Do you want kids?
No, never. It's never. I've never dreamed of it. I had a buddy that had a kid, and he was like, he's always saying, I want a baby. And I'm like, why? I never had that feeling. I'm telling you, maybe it's a glitch in me, but I've never wanted a smaller I've never wanted a child.
I don't
It's never
understand
sounded
wanting
good.
it. The people are like, "Oh, you're going to want it." I'm like, I think time's up for me going to want to that you're still hoping for. But
You don't look around at all these people we're talking about hating and that you have to put more good into the world?
no, I'll put more good in other ways.
I mean, I kind of want kids, but I really want to jizz in a vagina without a condom. So,
yeah.
Unfortunately, the byproduct is about 20 years.
Let me
Somebody
look at
told
my
me-
risk-reward analysis.
Somebody told me that once my brothers would have a kid, I would see like me and a kid, and I'm like, so my ego is gonna want a kid. Like I'm gonna see my eyes in small version, and I'm gonna want it. I was like, listen, if you're right, you're right. I'll get pregnant then. My brothers had babies. I was like, wow, you guys look tired.
Right.
And the person that said that to you isn't allowed at Thanksgiving anymore. Can you please put my child down? But it's looking at me, and it's me.
Do you guys ever feel like you owe your parents the millions of dollars they spent on you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I apologize to my mom all the time. I feel like I'm like, yeah, I hope I could pay her back. But now it's like I think 20 million. Like I think 20 million since
You
birth
think-
to
you
30.
think she spent 20 million
Just
on you?
Everything from toys to healthcare, all this stuff. She was a single working mother, and I was drunk. She got 12 bonus years. She got 18 plus. I didn't sober up till I was 30.
But
It
what'd you
was
do
a
to your
fucking
mom
mess.
in those 12 years?
I don't know. She had to bail me out a few times, not literally of jail. I would find my way out of jail, but I mean, she was had to, help me here and there. And then I was just like drunk or doing whatever till 30. So she got 3 decades, Wow. She was obligated to have 18. I mean, she didn't support me all of that time, but she would help me out of jams. And then, but for 18 years, I dropped out of high school twice in 10th grade. I mean, I was just like, I hit puberty. She had a good kid until puberty, and then I just made it.
I think
a
I owe my
mess.
parents about $6,000, and that counts to $44 I got in a birthday card. I don't know what I got. I got to be honest. A lot of flea markets.
You got the leftover milk that they added water to before they served it to you.
That's right.
We want kids to. I'm excited about it. You know, I'm sick of going to Lego movies alone. You know?
I do think I'd be a good dad if I had tons of money.
Wow. Amazing.
Tons of money.
How
I
could
think
you
I
do
could
it?
enjoy having a kid. Like, let's go to the pool.
But you
I
could
don't
be a
have
good
cities.
anything with $5 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It would definitely make me
What's
better.
It's interesting with that scandal that's going on now with Lori Loughlin and you know, like the 50 people that like bribe their way into colleges and like their kids into college, where it's like the kids are dumb, but they're also like partially dumb probably because the parents were too busy to spend time with them because these are all like executives.
Right. So you have
And shit.
about 50 rich families, including the stars Lori Loughlin, Aunt Becky,
Yeah.
and Felicity Huffman from Desperate Housewives, American Crime. Interesting, these titles of the shows, by the way,
Yeah.
that she was in. And it's not necessarily they gave, who knows, but supposedly it's not that the schools themselves knew about this scam of being paid off so that a dumb kid could get into an Ivy League school. You're paying this middleman who's in charge of your SATs and who has, carries a good word, falsifying SAT scores, falsifying ACT scores, falsifying without exaggeration that these kids were excellent in a certain sport. They would Photoshop the kid's face on some great yachter and go, hey, my kids,
That's crazy.
Just pay for them to go to yachts.
Yeah.
Pay for
Right.
yacht school for a year. They go,
Right.
"Hey, what are you going to do when you're actually in college? Pick up that oar. Or what?
They actually got caught because they asked one of the kids what they did. And like, oh, I was paid to go to yachts.
Right.
They just spoke the way that Keith did about the story. And they realized that it was just all a bunch of bullshit.
Well, this doesn't sound right.
Well, Carrie Coddett posted something about it saying that, people rezone or they pretend they have different addresses in order to go to the public schools that other people are more privileged to go to that are obviously better.
Yeah.
I knew,
Based on where you live.
yeah, and
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
absolutely knew people who did that in Queens. It was like Cardoza and Forest Hills and certain schools. You could just say that your aunt lives there or whatever. They arrest mothers who do that, and they mostly arrest black mothers, is what I understand. And
Right.
so this is just to go to the public school that if you live down the block, sometimes you're just not zoned for the right school. And they're arresting people, but here it's just going to be a scandal for a little minute. Who's going to go to jail for this?
Well, it sounded like a big deal. It sounded supposedly people can get up to 20 years in prison. The main guy,
Who are they jailing for this? You know what I mean?
Felicity Huffman.
Right.
And
That prison's going to be a full house. Huh?
I'm fascinated. They wanted their kids in these schools for prestige. They really want their kids educated because everything. You're William H. Macy's kid.
Right.
You don't do
Yeah.
drugs. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Whether you go to USC or not.
He tried to-
Everything's fine.
William H. Macy is on the run right now. He's talking to a cop and just started running like in Fargo. He's going to be in big trouble.
No, you're right. I think it's just the kids going, but I want to. And they go, all right, if this is what you
Just
want.
be like, your parents are two famous actors. Don't do heroin, and you're fine.
Yeah.
The rest of your life, 60 years, nothing.
Right.
Just don't be an asshole.
But like
who
when
cares if you got a degree?
you
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go
But
ahead.
it made me so fucking angry. I heard something about Dale Earnhardt Sr.,
Uh-huh.
the famous race car driver, was always ashamed he dropped out of high school. And it haunted him, and that's why he treated his son bad. And I'm like, you have $400 million.
Yeah.
Why would you
Yeah.
ever care what happened when you were 13? You've done more than everyone else.
it'd be funny.
I hate when people are like, I'm ashamed I dropped out. You have $100 million. Fuck everybody.
Right. Maybe he's lying because he thinks that's what you're supposed to say. Because if he did finish high school, he'd be
You're
like,
ashamed?
oh, that was it?
He did everything he could in his career until he hit a wall.
I finished,
Boom.
I graduated high school. I called it.
It was more of like a than a boom.
Yeah,
but, you know,
You're a dick. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
Your brain is just very special.
this is my stepdad's favorite NASCAR driver, Dale Earnhardt. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to.
Guess what his favorite Dave Matthews Band song was? No.
I went to elementary school with his son in North
yeah?
Carolina. Yeah, Dale Jr. Yeah, that was all I heard was Earnhardt for years in
Right.
that school.
Does some of these kids get mad at their parents? Like now they're like, oh, great, Mom, I'm embarrassed now that I got into this college, but not on legitimate reasons. You're an idiot! Why did you think you could go to this college? You are a moron! Do you remember when you did the SATs with your eyes closed? You fucking idiot! You were hungover from another party.
You know how many languages you would know if you actually listened to the people who really did the raising of you?
50 people, including wealthy parents, athletic coaches, and test proctors, were busted in a coast-to-coast college admissions scandal that saw underqualified students fraudulently accepted in some of the top schools in the nation. 33 deep-pocketed parents are accused of giving $25 million from 2011 to 2018 to cheat their way into admissions at schools such as Yale, Georgetown, Stanford, Wake Forest, USC. I bought a Harvard shirt.
The worst part was that Jussie Smollett pretended to have a son that he bribed to get into his school.
He's pushing it. He's really pushing it.
You know what I like about all of this is this takes colleges down another notch because they just keep raising their price and their value has not gone up and people are starting to not care again about college.
At the center of the widespread scheme is William Rick Singer, a well-connected college prep expert who funneled the cash, and he's admitting that he's guilty. He's hanging everybody out to dry. Funneled the cash through a sham nonprofit and paid off cohorts to either fudge SAT or ACT scores.
Wow, there's so many crimes in that sentence.
Yeah, or allow applicants to apply as coveted sports recruits. To me, that's the funniest one. Like, all right, go run and catch that ball. Like a pattern? What is it? I heard that word. What do you want me to do?
The basketball team is just like 8 7-foot tall guys and Lori Laughlin's son. One of these things is not like the other.
Lori Laughlin's daughter is wearing a Jets uniform in a picture. This doesn't look right. Some parents paid as much as $6.5 million to Singer, but the average was about $250,000 to $400,000. So imagine you find this. You know what? Everybody's going to rat on everybody else because if you spent $6 million on your dumb kid and you found out Felicity Huffman only spent $200,000 on her dumb kid, I'm going to do some yapping. I'm angry. You know?
$6 million.
But then you actually have to go to that school and learn the things.
You don't, though.
I bet not, right? Like, doesn't that buy you A's across the board?
We're not talking.
It probably doesn't. Once it. Like, crime is, like, once it starts, it doesn't stop. Then there's other scams and shit that you just do to cover up your dumb kid.
Right, because then you have to keep bribing people. Because once the kid is in there, it's like, well, now the teachers are going to know that he's a moron. So now you got to bribe teachers.
The FBI came to, no exaggeration.
I love how they're morons. You didn't get into Harvard. You're such a moron.
And you know the saddest thing is, like, all these kids, like, are going to go to these schools, and then the only jobs they're going to get are for, like, their parents' production companies.
Right, yeah.
Right. Why do you think you're qualified, honey? Because I went to Harvard.
Yeah.
I paid for your Harvard. We're not talking, this is the FBI. Oh, so I was going to say, the FBI went to Felicity Huffman's door with their guns drawn when they arrested her. So I don't know if it's just to scare her to get her to talk or what, but it is a bigger deal than I thought something like this would be.
It's just interesting. Like, I get that it's a big deal. That's very good. But guns drawn, like, this isn't...
I do it. If I can draw my gun on Felicity Huffman. You know what? Every show, she's an asshole.
Is she going to just start firing? Like, what's with all the guns?
Don't reach for it! Felicity Huffman going for a knife.
Well, William H. Macy comes out with a shovel because he was the shoveler, and he, you don't know.
We're not talking about donating to a building so a school is more likely to accept your son and daughter. We're talking about deception and fraud, fake test scores, fake athletic credentials, fake photographs, bribed college officials. Singer was charged with racketeering conspiracy, money laundering conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy to defraud the U.S. That's not a good one.
All to get your kid in a college they don't actually give a shit about.
Right.
That they don't need, yeah.
Imagine they get in and, like, in the first semester, they're like, yawners, and they quit. There's like, you know what? It turns out, no.
Most of his associates and the college coaches are charged with conspiracy to commit racketeering. So
this is all to get homework.
So when I say sometimes the school doesn't know, I don't know if they did, but the coaches certainly knew. You know if you have a guy that never played this sport. And so those people have to be paid directly. The parents uniformly face charges of conspiracy to commit mail fraud an honest services fraud by using.
There's an honest services
I
fraud?
guess the law is tricky. Among those were TV actress Felicity Huffman, Lori Loughlin, Loughlin's husband. For whatever reason, William H. Macy seems okay. Fashion designer, Lori Loughlin's husband, a famous fashion designer. The alleged scam had two components. One focused on academics that involved Singer paying bribes to test proctors. So you would take your ACT or SAT, and then this guy would change all the answers after you took it. That's how the kids might not know.
I get that it's a lot of money, but this is what your life is worth.
Right.
Your heart is pumping over, number 2 pencils and erasing.
Singer has greased the wheels, he says, for nearly 800 families.
Is he loaded? Where's all the millions?
Right.
It probably is, yeah.
But shouldn't he have like 800 million at least?
Okay, so
Some of these people spent $25 million, it said?
No, it didn't say that, right?
no, the
6
total.
million.
That was
Oh,
that
the total.
That would have been
Okay,
about the
okay.
total. But yeah, one guy was 6 million, one family was 6 million, others were a couple 100,000. And so then the person who would actually so he was the middle guy, he was the main guy. Then the person who flubbed the test would get paid $10,000 for each time.
They should make a movie about this called Goodwill Bunting.
Lori Loughlin's husband, you know who he is? He owns Mossimo, that fashion line.
Oh,
I'm like,
really?
man, take that Full House money and that shitty clothing line money and I'm just thinking like their life.
Massimo
It's great. They got these
Gianelli.
kids.
Yeah.
I don't know why they care. They go to school. It's prestige. Like rich people just lose their mind, right? They're just like, I want this. I'm going to get this.
It's peer
This'll
pressure.
Look good, right?
Yeah. It's a weird peer pressure.
And you're bragging.
Amongst their friends.
And you're showing
kid.
you're a good parent because your kid is smart. And
and it's just weird competitive thing amongst
Yeah.
wealthy people.
It's totally competition. If you're the only one in your group of friends that's kid is,
It's time for parents to be proud of that. God fucking damn it. Have a brain.
Right.
I made you, and then, just keep on going.
yeah, because there is something like the sympathy I do have for the kids is that they are just pawns in this greater image. You know, like maybe they're
kids.
God, I'm being sympathetic towards rich kids, but maybe they're into other shit and stuff, and that what they want to do. But it's like the parents are making them fit into this mold. They probably had to go to all these shitty premiere parties and stuff that they never wanted to, when they'd rather be at sleepovers with their friends.
Well, but they do know, again, the kids have to know whenever they go to the sports angle, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
This article says some simply never showed up for the athletics, some showed up with an injury, and some played briefly and then quit. So you're already in. The coaches charged include the head sailing coach at Stanford, women's soccer coach at Yale. Singer faces up to 20 years in prison. It's unclear what, if anything, the colleges involved will do about the students who got in through deceptive practices of their parents. Well, what do they care, right? The money's coming in separately to them.
Can I just point out that the name of the story is The Old College Lie? Mm-hmm. And that clearly was written by someone who worked hard for their degree. See, that's what college does. Someone went to journalism school, busted their ass, and said, I got it, the old college lie.
Andrea's writing in, you are the extension of their reputation. That's why abuse stays hush-hush in both super rich and super poor families. Surprisingly parallel experiences. She's been doing a little research.
Arrests spanned 6 states as a result of the 10-month investigation. The investigation was called Operation Varsity Blues.
Oh, everyone's cute.
Everybody's clever.
Oh,
Yep.
God fucking Christ.
So corny.
You can still have fun at work.
Hey, what if at midnight was just the world now? Thank you.
That is amazing to me, though. The FBI agents had their guns drawn at Felicity Huffman's house. She was handcuffed, spent hours in federal custody at a detention center in downtown L.A.
It would be pretty interesting to be in jail for a crime like this.
Right.
Just, what do you do there? I learned my lesson. Nope. Got to go work out.
And now the kids know what the parents are. What does it do to that family now?
Yeah. Yeah, you're also teaching, you're teaching your kids, if you don't do it, you can just throw money at it.
Yeah. Scam it.
When you gave the money,
Yeah.
you gave it to this nonprofit that the singer supposedly set up, so everything's tax deductible. Just a little bonus. Huffman appeared in court. A judge set bail for $250,000. She said, "Hey, look, I'm broke." Laughlin's daughter has been online, and people are mad at her because she's saying about how even though she's in USC, she doesn't know how many classes she'll be able to go to before the scandal came out.
Wait, what happened? What?
So let's see. Laughlin and her husband paid $500,000 in bribes to get her daughter, Olivia Jade, and her older sister into the college under the guise of them being crew athletes, even though neither participated in competitive rowing ever.
God.
Despite the big investment, Olivia Jade posted a video on YouTube last year declaring she didn't, quote, really care about school, but wanted to, quote, experience the partying. I don't know how much of school I'm going to attend, she said.
Great kids.
She is up to, let's see, 1.3 million followers on Instagram, for example. 2 million on YouTube. She's saying that she would go to Fiji for work during her first week of school and then New York later in the year. Again, USC, Southern California. But I'm going to go in and talk to my deans and everyone and hope I can try and balance it all out. And then this happens to come out a year later. What are you doing?
I mean, I think that's just their regular life.
Right.
Right. Now she get a Fiji for 6 months.
Right. This proves she's so stupid that she was bought in.
I know, and it's like you're doing all these like shortcuts and shit when you could work hard and be a self-made billionaire like Kylie Jenner.
And I just think that it proves the bubble that she's in. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't understand what was weird about her posting that or saying that.
How did you know that her and her parents actually live in a bubble in the sky where they look down on the rest of society?
Every once in a while, they pee in my backyard.
The investigation began when authorities received a tip about the scheme from someone they were interviewing in a separate case. Authorities said coaches in such sports as soccer, sailing, tennis, water polo, and volleyball took these payoffs. Here's what you do. You make them compete. And you put that on TV.
Yes, before the scandal comes out.
I was talking yesterday to two comics. This is Jackie Furbeck and Camille Theobald, and they were saying like it was really interesting how a lot of like this now is because of Trump in the sense that like we just hate rich people now, like, and even rich people hate Trump because there's so much more spotlight on this type of wealthy asshole that some of their secrets and stuff are now being exposed in a way that they weren't before. That we're just more critical of that type of douche.
I see.
I don't know. Are we more? So we're just more critical of it, or we're just? It's just illuminated. It just shines a light.
I think some of it's like, why do we let them get away with all this stuff? Why are they able to do this shitty shit?
I feel like we have been saying that. We just have Twitter now, so we're hearing it more.
All I want to see.
But I think Trump was like a catalyst in some ways of just like, ugh, like.
I can't argue that Trump is a catalyst for a lot of shit. I think he is.
A lot of good social change just out of the rebellion of his awfulness. Yeah.
What a trickster for good he is.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm fascinated at how much more they want, all the wealthy people, whether it be Trump or these parents. I'm like fascinated once you've arrived there.
I want to see their first day at the school gym.
Yeah.
You say you're a weightlifter, and then the coach says, "All right, chalk up," and he's like, and then starts drawing on the chalkboard. I will work out now. You don't know what you're doing.
It was like the Amazon thing with the not paying any taxes, where it's like you gotta have it all. Fuck you.
All of it.
Yeah.
It is once it starts, you can't. I guess what gets you there can't be turned off. I just
no, and then you're taught it by someone who's already there a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know the Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, got busted getting a rub and tug from what turned out to be a place based in human trafficking. Now there's pictures of the owner of that place, Orchids of Asia, hanging out with Donald Trump.
Perfect.
What a world.
He's involved in 2 scandals that involve deflated balls.
That's right.
What a beautiful world. You're right.
Right.
God, that's fascinating to me. It's just I don't know. Once someone has $1 billion, I'm still fascinated how. I mean, some of them might love their work, but most you couldn't. I'm just like, why not disappear? Go and fish. And tell everyone to fuck off. And why would you take another meeting? Why would you answer another phone call? But you can't.
Paul, name 3 people that you like.
Huh? 3 people. I love my mother. I love my Aunt Linda.
I'm gonna
I
puke.
love you guys. That's
That counts.
That's it.
Well, it's like, I
It's a
think
tight knit
that's-
group.
I think it's part of the reason like people that win the lottery become poor again because they've never been taught or raised in that like ruthless environment. So they just spend money without thinking about it and do dumb shit when it's like they don't know how to make more.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Andrea has been studying narcissism. Here we go.
Okay.
You get there usually because you're a narcissist. We're talking about how to get.
She's
to that
working
thing.
at a comedy podcast. Of course, she's studying narcissism.
Narcissists don't believe the rules of society apply to them. They have to be better than people. It's how they keep their self-esteem, external validation. I wonder about that. Like, would people be further in their career if they were narcissist assholes? Like, everyone in this room is really nice. Would we be further in our career if we stepped on other people? And like, I don't know how to do. Andrea's yelling yes, and
I think this about. I
Yeah.
think I'd be further. I'm not jealous enough sometimes. I don't care enough, and I'm sort of antisocial, and I think it's fucked me in my career.
Mike
I like
Lawrence. I know that.
doing my work, and I like disappearing, which doesn't work, really.
Yeah, like
for being
people who hang
successful.
out, then they start getting employed by their friends who get more in the career, and I don't know. There's like an ego there that I think has to happen. What about you?
I mean, I think like the narcissism and like, I mean, it's a lot of things like just the working and caring about yourself so much that all you do is work. Like, which I think with social media and all that, we've convinced ourselves to work harder than we ever have. Like comedians, we used to wake up at 7:45 and do the 8 o'clock show. Now we have to wake up at 7 p.m. and write awful, sad tweets about how much we hate ourselves. Like, look what it's done to Paul specifically.
It's really poison.
but to all of us, like now it's like a 24/7 job where we're even trained to be narcissists even more, and it is fucking exhausting. And it's like I would rather be like comfortable and be able to spend a lot of time with my wife and my dog and our kids hopefully and whatever than focus so much on work and everything and be so self-obsessed all the time. It's like this seems miserable to me.
Yeah, and it really does feel like. I mean, we still reward the loudmouth in society, and,
Oh,
and
yeah.
social media is just empowered extroverts, and they're fucking saying nothing,
Right.
and it's just too much. It's just
Isn't
the loudest
comedy,
thing
like,
wins.
The most positive, wonderful place.
I love comedy. I still love comedy
Yeah.
a lot. I still love being on stage a lot.
Yeah.
I love it too. So
I
I think
do.
we're
It's-
okay.
Yeah,
No, we're
that's
good.
a positive
Yeah,
thing.
Andrea's dying to share something with us. Here we go.
Well, it's like I don't know if you read anything about like narcissists. Like a lot of them are
You
captains.
could have ended that sentence that I don't know if you read anything.
I don't know if you read anything, but a lot of them are captains of industry because like imagine how effective you would be if you didn't consider anybody else in your decision making. Like how much less time you would, like how much more time you would be able to focus on purely your success.
Okay, so I have thought of that because I do think a lot about other people before I step on anything, and it really does drag on, and I do see other people just going for it and flaking on people and not caring. But I don't think I can do it, and I think if I were to do it, other bad shit would happen. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, of course. It's a morally bankrupt way to live your life. Like you can be very wealthy, but it's also like the reason why they need to be successful constantly, like they have to up the ante all the time, is that they hate themselves very deeply. Like it's not someone who feels good about themselves.
Wait, Paul, do you hate yourself?
Yeah, I think so.
You do? Then why don't you get the other fun narcissism
I
stuff
don't know. I
out
don't
of
get all
that?
the perks.
Yeah,
I've
it's-
not got nothing
why
out of it.
isn't-
I
why
don't know, I'm
isn't
a
Paul-
weird kind of narcissism, I guess. Self-defeating.
It's like there are. I agree that like narcissism has become celebrated in society. Like as a societal thing, we've definitely the curve has moved much further that way. But there are people who have like narcissistic personality disorders, and those are people who are like captains of industry or my dad or whoever. But
Captains of Industry or my dad. Get Andrea's new album available.
he does get a shout out in my first hour of stand up. But the thing is, if you're always deflecting on being either better than other people or climbing, it's because you don't, at your core, you don't feel good about yourself. And that's not to make this a more sympathetic character, but it never ends. Like the pain never ends for them. It's kind of like how people it's like a lot of narcissists are workaholics because it distracts from the empty chasm that is their soul. And that sounds really dramatic, but it's how a lot of them feel. You know,
well, that's the thing that's interesting that you said about the captains of industry thing when you talk about this scandal, where it's like when they have problems in their field and they're just like, just throw money at it or like fix it or whatever. It's like with these kids, they could spend the time, they could nurture, they could make these kids, you know, smart enough or caring enough about school so that they naturally do get in. But it is just easier.
No, but wait,
for the quick fix.
maybe they are doing that. They're just the kids are not getting into Harvard. That doesn't mean they're actual dum-dums. Maybe they are getting the nurturing and whatever. Probably not because they're egomaniacs and they say dumb shit on Twitter, but they are still about 18 years old and still fuckfaces for a little while. They are raging against whatever machine they were raised in. So if that was, you know, the narcissistic, like overexploded, overly, you know, whatever is going on in their house, overly rich, then they're just raging against that. If they were poor, they would rage against that. It's just a raging age.
Well, this has been going on for almost 10 years. So that means there were conversations like, Dad, fuck you. I was at Yale. Oh, you motherfucker. Motherfucker. If you only knew. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you. Andrea Allen. I have been looking up narcissism also because I'm pretty sure I was married to one. But I look it up in reference to a romantic relationship. So it's weird when it comes up like in more financial business situations.
Right. Picture you're dating one of these people, too, that just got outed, one of the kids. You're like, no, you're smart. like no, you're involved.
And that's the thing. It's like from now on, they're just dopey for, you know, for their parents trying to get them into Ivy League schools. Like, wait, I'm smart. I just didn't want to go to Yale, or I had to.
It's perfect for them in a way because they fucked up their college career and now they're entitled to more money. They're like, I didn't graduate. Right. You ruined my college, so I'll need the $20 million early.
No, you're smart, but now you understand when the check comes why I always take it.
Can we all agree that if you are one of these kids, and obviously you knew that your face was photoshopped on a professional yachter, death penalty?
Death penalty. I'm with you. Death penalty.
Okay.
No, because I would have done what my parents told me to do. If they would have said this is right because whatever cockamamie story, I was supposed to follow what my parents did. I'm sure I did some dumb shit because that was their truth.
When's the last time you talked to your parents?
Years.
Okay, very good. Mike Lawrence, you can follow
I'm not
on.
18.
No, I know. Mike, you weren't listening then either, please.
I guess I couldn't have gotten here if I was listening to them.
18 years old. What races were you dating? Give me a break. You weren't
Wow.
listening. Well, you weren't. At the Mike Lawrence on Twitter. Instagram is at Mike Lawrence Comedy. You can follow the website, of course, MikeLawrenceComedy.com. See all the dates, including Caroline's here in the great New York City.
That's right. March 14th through the 16th. Please come out.
If you're at Caroline's, order whipped cream with the coffee. You're welcome.
All right. What a treat. And Mike will be there. Stay for Mike. Come for the coffee. Stay for one of the funniest comedians you've ever heard. Paul Hooper on Twitter. Paul Hooper. Instagram is Paule Hooper. Okay. Extra E for extra trap. Right.
What is
middle
this?
initial?
What's your middle name?
Eugene. My God.
right.
I used to hate it, but I like it now.
And Paul's a great fucking comic too, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
See the dates at paulhoopercomedy.com.
What were you going to say?
That's right. I'm in Houston this weekend.
Good.
There you go.
Do you like Houston?
He didn't say the club. He's just, I'm in Houston.
That's it. I should be. That's right. It's another reason I'm not a draw. They gotta have the information to find
It was
you.
voted one of the 10 cities I'd rather be living in than this shithole.
Joke Joint Comedy Showcase Friday, Saturday. For Christ's sake, I'll get better at this someday.
But you're not a narcissist.
I'm not a
A
narcissist.
narcissist would have said the venue of the place that they're advertising.
Shouted, yeah, phone number and everything.
Where are you going to be, Paul? A club-like thing. Okay, very good. And, of course, you can follow us on social media, and you'll see everybody's social media that's on the show through that, all right? It's Keith and the Girl everywhere. We'll talk to you tomorrow.